Good afternoon, and welcome to this edition of the Coal Scene. With me today in the studio is Dennis Atkins, who's a 31-year veteran of the coal industry. He's also a veteran of the Vietnam War. Dennis has worked in and around a number of surface mining operations over the past 30-some years. And he's seen a lot of activity around the mine operations. He's been part of some very successful operations. He's also held a number of local UMW positions. He's been a mine safety committeeman. He's been a mine committeeman. He's represented literally hundreds of workers at these operations within southern West Virginia. Today he is confronted with a different challenge. He's been participating in the pushback against some of the initiatives out of the federal administration, primarily EPA, as they commence in serving various obstructions to the mining industry in the permitting aspect and at the operations level. Dennis is part of the Logan Coal Vendors. He's part of the Friends and Family for Coal. He's also been an instrumental part in the Citizens for Coal. Dennis, thanks so much for taking time to come by. I just want to kind of get a little bit of your perspective of some of the things that are going on today and some of the rallies you have been very instrumental in getting going here.
Well, thank you, Chris, for the opportunity. Like you said, we got the multiple fronts that we're fighting. The present administration, as you know well, being in the coal business and around, but we're fighting people that don't have a clue of what they're doing to the state of West Virginia. All they know is coal. They don't see the people, and we are out there trying to keep the people informed. We're fighting administration, we're fighting regulations, we're fighting the environmentalists. Some of them have great intentions. They have great intentions, but who they're being supported by and being paid by, we have a problem with. And we're keeping the people informed on the forums of Citizens for Coal and Family and Friends of Coal Miners and other groups that have been fantastic. You've been involved in some of them, and we appreciate the Coal Association for their involvement. And but we're going to fight. We're going to keep fighting because we got a daunting task ahead of us.
Well, given that you've been in the industry for 30-some years here in southern West Virginia, you know you've experienced a lot of challenges, but I think it's fair to say that today's challenges that are primarily political in nature, they're being driven by political agendas, are very serious and perhaps just much more threatening than some of the challenges that we have faced over the year. It's a moving target, and you're not sure really where, you know, who's shooting at you.
Well, we know a whole lot of the people that's shooting at us. I know we were in Washington a few weeks ago on the House Bill 3409, Stop the War on Coal Act. And of course, we go to Washington pretty regularly. And we made a statement to this effect. The senators, if they don't bring it up, we're going to reach out and touch you. We don't care what state you're from, because if you live in California and you're trying to regulate the state of West Virginia, we have a problem with that. And so therefore, we're going to reach out. We got people mobilized all over this country that's in the same predicament we are, not the coal industry per se, but they are out there in other environmental issues that are shutting other industries down. So we got a far-reaching audience out there.
This is also unfortunate when you really think about it. You know, today's miner, West Virginia's miner, when you think about what he does, the essence of his work is that he provides energy to, you know, everybody else here in our great state, but he also powers the majority of energy on the East Coast. And West Virginia coal, because of the quality, because of the efficiencies in our mining processes, is very desired, and it's shipped throughout the world. And you know that coal in turn is used to power homes, keeps the lights on, and it provides a real inexpensive continual flow of industrial energy as well for these growing nations.
And that's why we're involved the way we are, Chris. You can sit back and do nothing and hope someone does something. Well, I took up the challenge. We're going to do what we can to inform the people, not just in the state of West Virginia. Well, as you mentioned, the forums, we're going to try to reach out to all 55 counties. But we're also going to try to reach out to the 24, 25 states that predominantly use coal for their energy. It's going to be an ongoing thing for, we're not going to get it done this week, but we are going to get it done. People need to be educated to the fact that what this federal government, EPA is doing, is actually creating havoc in their state also when you get right down to it for the energy cost, the high cost of electricity. If you don't have the coal, and coal is cleaner than it ever has been, we got a little bit of a challenge, but we're in great shape, as far as I'm concerned, for the future if we can just get people to understand it.
You mentioned clean coal and coal being burned, and I hear about coal can be burned cleanly. Well, it is being burned cleanly. The nation's consumption of coal over the past 25 years has tripled, and all of these emissions have been ratcheted downward to the point where there's a near zero emission, and all the particulates and sulfur and all the things that we used to hear about that come from these coal-fired plants. But today, the point is today it is clean, and it is being burned cleanly.
It is. If we stop burning all the coal in this country, and the developing countries, China and India and so on and so forth, they're burning and building more coal-fired plants than any other countries in the world right now. The carbon footprint, as they say, not going to change. It's probably going to increase. So we need to sell them our technology and keep our coal-fired going, and sell them our technology to clean up the atmosphere if they have a problem with that.
It's inconceivable, and it's very hard to balance how every politician, every person involved in economic development is trying to grow their job base.
Yes.
And they all pride themselves on how many jobs that's created under their watch. Here we have a situation where the West Virginia miners not looking for anything but the ability to continue working.
Yeah, create jobs. First thing we need to do is maintain what we have. These people are proud to be coal miners. I've always done surface mining, mountaintop development we call it, and without that we wouldn't have a lot of things in the state of West Virginia. But the miner in West Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, Southeastern Ohio, Southwestern Virginia, we're all in the same boat here. And let us work. We have a fuel that has fueled this nation for hundreds of years, won many wars, built many structures in this country with our coal for steel and stuff. Maintain our jobs. We know the market is soft right now, and the overseas market is opening up. We still got a market. Let us work.
Well, you talk about markets, and I think looking forward, you wouldn't know it because of some of the issues that West Virginia's coal industry is confronted with today. But coal will continue to be a major energy source. I don't think there's any question about that. The real question and issue today is, where will the coal come from? Will it come from out west? Will it come from some foreign destination? We are seeing some other coal-producing regions that are doing very well today, while there seems to be continued pressure on ratcheting down the productivity and efficiencies from Central Appalachia. And it's very unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because every time we face a issue with coal and we comply with it, just talk to the people at John Amos Power Plant. They clean up one aspect of it. Technology is great, and we appreciate every bit of it. But every time we clean one thing up, they're after another. Another after this mercury issue. You could take a football stadium, fill it up with ping pong balls, put one black one in that, and that's the issue that they're working on on the mercury deal. People's got to be educated. We want to mine coal. We've got plenty of coal to mine. We got the best miners in the world. I think we ought to utilize them, maintain our job base. The old saying is, you build it, they will come. Let's do what we do best, and we'll worry about the rest of it later on.
We do have the best miners in the world. There's no question about that. The skill level, the journeyman level of our miners here in West Virginia is unparalleled. You know, they do not have an equal. We have great capacity. We have coal, enough coal remaining here at today's productivity rates, you know, to carry us through another 100, 150 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure the exact amount is known, but
Or maybe more.
or maybe more. But you know, with all that said, and as we look towards certain renewables, you know, wind, solar, geothermal, it just occurs to me that there will be a natural transition period, which certainly isn't today or tomorrow, but maybe 100 years from now, where we will, as a country, you know, have to leave fossil fuels and go to other energy sources. Seems like that will be a natural. My point is that'll be a natural transition as one's depleting and another becomes commercially available.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Mm.
But right now, in this present time, you know, we're dependent on a lot of foreign oil. We don't want to be dependent on foreign coal. You mentioned the fact that there's some imports coming in now from South America to the tune of maybe 17 to 20 million tons a year. Why in the world would you want to import coal when we got the best coal in the world and the best miners in the world? We just need to use a common sense factor here. You can take one coal mine that mines 400 people, produce enough coal in one day to compensate for all the renewable energies, windmills and so on and so forth that we actually can't use in this state.
The other thing you mentioned that it occurred to me as you were talking, that you want to reach out to the non-coal producing counties in the state, maybe even outside of West Virginia. One of the things that just isn't talked about enough is our coal severance program, where, you know, there's a tax that's placed on the sale price of coal. So every ton of coal that's mined it has a tax placed on it. But then that severance collection will be distributed not just to the coal producing counties, but to all 55 counties in our state. And that money is used by local government to sponsor, you know, very important government programs and programs for the less fortunate seniors.
Sure.
So it's a good program, and you know, you translate that into, in very simple terms, coal that you're mining in Boone County or in Logan County. The taxation on that coal is being used to stimulate, you know, counties statewide.
And go ask any county, how much of your yearly income would you like to get rid of? Because if the coal goes down, like you mentioned, 55 counties get severance tax monies.
Education,
education,
government services,
any function for any of the community. There's multiple factions that are involved in this, and that's the educational process we're going to go through.
I mentioned at the outset that you have been really active and involved with Citizens for Coal, the Logan Coal Vendors, and also a new organization, Friends and Families for Coal. And all three of those organizations have sponsored a number of rallies. I think we have a video clip here with us today that we're going to look at from one or more of those rallies, Dennis. But you really, I just want to compliment you. You've been doing just a great job. You get a lot of people out. You know, they're educational in nature, where you're just, you know, you're wanting to bring some of these issues to the attention of friends and families of the industry, and get some of those individuals who are indirectly involved with the industry more involved with the politics and some of the issues of the industry. So you'd really be compliment on that.
Well, I don't need a pat on the back, Chris, but I appreciate the vote of confidence that you give me. We have worked well with you and Mr. Rainey at the Coal Association, and Terry and the faces of coal, Brian Brown, and we appreciate all the help we get. You know, I like you said, I've been involved on the local level as a union man for years and years, and now we have to face the fact that I mean, I'm getting ready possibly to lose my pension in health care through a bankruptcy with Patriot Co. We're fighting the environmentalists. We're fighting the administration. We've got a task that, and the family and friends of coal miners and the Logan coal vendors and the citizens of coal, these people ought to be hugged every day. Art Kirkendall said one time, every day you ought to hug a teacher, a soldier, and a coal miner. And these people that's out here helping us do this ought to be...
maybe throw a nurse in there on that.
Throw a nurse. My wife's a nurse, so yes.
As mine
that'll
is.
work. Yeah.
Okay. Dennis, why don't we take a break here, look at a couple of these videos, and then we'll come back and wrap up.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
You know, in speaking from the county's standpoint, how important coal is, I'm a strong proponent of coal. I've been with Jim Winkler. We've been to Abington, Virginia. I've been with all the mayors, Art, Chris Hamilton. Roger Horton's been everywhere. We've rode buses. And I know the importance of it in our county. I know the importance when a young boy needs money to play Little League Baseball or Midget League Football. Where does it come from? Coal severance. What about water lines? What about water? What about sewage? What about helping with roads? Where do you think it comes from? Coal severance money. That hard-working miners have worked, and money's come back into the county. I can remember, as Art mentioned a few moments ago, we used to get, about 1998, we were getting $350,000 to $400,000 quarterly coal severance money into the county. There were 400 jobs taken out at that point in time. We had to lay people off at the courthouse, and I don't want to serve as a county commissioner if I can't help people. I don't want an answering service. I want a service to where when someone calls in, we could go out and help those people that are in need. They're in the flood. I had a lady the other day up at Mud Fork. We went in and helped with soil conservation, straighten her stream out. She was tickled to death. She was hugging everybody. You know, I love the joy on people's faces that you can help. But you couldn't do that without our lifeblood, and that's coal. And you miners out there today put your life on the line. You go out and you work hard every day, and you don't demand too much, but you should demand a paycheck and some way to feed your families. You know, in our county, we're very blessed in so many, many ways. Boone County is blessed in so many, many different ways. But you take the coal out, we've got nothing. God bless coal. God bless West Virginia.
I am thankful that you all decided to come out here tonight, and particular thanks to those of you, and I know there's a lot here, and there was a heck of a lot more earlier, that have devoted a career, some a lifetime, into extracting this mineral from our hills in order to provide kudos to you guys. Special thanks to all of you miners who show up at a mine every day to provide this great state, our country, and the world with low-cost, reliable, household and industrial energy day in and day out. And don't let anybody tell you any difference, because of what you do every day that affords all of the rest of us even us country club coal miners, with all the liberties and freedoms and the quality of life that we all enjoy. It's because of what you do. Our challenges today, the issues, they're not technical in nature. If they were technical, we have some of the best mining, some of the best technical minds in the business. They're here in Boone County, they're in Logan County, they're in Mingo, Kanawha, Marshall, they're in every coal-producing county. If these were technical issues that we're being confronted with today, we would have had them solved long before now. These are political issues. It's called global warming. It's called, it's more important for us to count the number of windmills on each and every house than it is to have a continued, reliable source of energy as we have experienced the past several centuries here in America and in West Virginia. The entire energy agenda is out of whack in my view. It's an environmental agenda. It's an environmental policy. Global climate change, let's swell the percentage of renewables. We've been in a war here in Boone, Logan, and Mingo County for 12 years now on surface mining. It's not a new war on coal. We've been in it. And thank goodness you've had people like Senator Art Kirkendall, County Commissioner Danny Gobby, and a number of others working for you, just as our mining professionals work 24/7. I can't tell you the number of times we have shared a podium speaking out on behalf of West Virginia's coal industry, the importance of the industry to every single county. You know, we have a coal severance program here in the state. By the way, I'm supposed to talk a little bit about economics, I'm told, but we have a coal severance program here in the state of West Virginia. Every time we mine a ton of coal, we put $1 in a pot, but the pot just doesn't come back to Mingo County, Boone County, or Logan County. It goes to all 55 counties. And last year, there was over a $500 million that were raised for that fund. And it went to all 55 counties. So the surface mine coal right here in Boone and neighboring Logan that some of our citizens raised some cane about because they look at the picture that Christy showed you and they don't look at the picture 3 years later, 5 years later, where everything's restored and it's actually in a better state than it was before the mining company ever took the first shovel of dirt out. But we do have some within the state that don't like those pictures, don't like surface mining, but they take the coal severance dollars that come from this part of the country, this part of the state. Excuse me. Again, the issues we have are truly political, they're not technical, and the times call for each and every one of us to do more today than we did yesterday. There's a number of coal advocacy groups, and they'll teach you about the permits, they'll teach you about mine safety, they'll give you information so you can shore up any area that you may not feel comfortable talking about. But doggone it, this is about jobs, this is about our future, this is what we do, and just as all 55 counties benefit from coal severance, all the other 49 states benefit from the coal mines right here in West Virginia. You know, we do have great potential. We got a great workforce, some of the best miners you'll find anywhere in the world. We got excellent companies, we got very aggressive business plans, and we have enough reserves here to last us the next 150 years anyway. But we have to become more involved, each and every one of us. And it's tiring and it's depressing, but join one of these advocacy groups. And Roger Horton, you run one of the finest ones I've seen, Citizens for Coal out of Logan County. And his co-part right here in the front row, Jimmy Winkler with American Hydraulics, has been with us every step along the way as well. There is a war on coal. There's been a war on surface mining. And the adversaries, you know as well as I do, they don't distinguish between surface mining, that's mountaintop mining, that's deep mining. They all have to get a SMACRA permit, every one of them. and the negative policies that we've seen coming out of Washington. And when you hear somebody wanting to abolish mountaintop mine coal, read the bill that does that. It abolishes all coal, every single ton that is mined. But again, you know, like the times call, and some of you are tired of hearing me say this, they are coming at us, Christy, land, air, and sea, and the times call for all hands on deck. And we need to be pulling, pushing, whatever's required, the task of the day, and we all need to grab a hold and go in the same direction. And I think we can beat this. I think we can weather it. I think the whole country, I don't care where you are, what state you live in, you cannot be happy or satisfied with the way things are going. There's no way you can feel secure about your job, I don't care what you do, across this great country of ours. You can't feel good about defense. You can't feel good about national security. You can't feel good about border patrol. You can't feel good about the economy. I don't know who in their right mind would vote for this guy again. And I promise not to get too political here, but I'm telling you what, again, the whole agenda that's working against us is a political issue. There's nothing technical about it, and it requires a political solution. So get involved, let your voice be heard, and first and foremost, exercise your fundamental right to vote. And in order to vote November 6th, you have to be registered to vote. So you've got a brief period of time to become registered, and we look forward to anybody and everybody that's willing to work a little bit and willing to get involved on behalf of coal families and coal miners to join us, and we'll make you feel welcome and be part of the team. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for coming out this evening. Thank you, Roger.
If we continue on the process that we're going, in the next 10 years, you will pay an energy tax, just like we are now paying Social Security, income tax, and everything else. You know why? Because you'll be paying for the utility bills for people that can't afford them. That's what's going to happen. It should never get that way. At one time, this country could have shut every harbor, every border, and not let anybody in or out, and we could have sustained life because we had agriculture, we had technology. God gave us all the energy we needed. We give it away. And I do believe that the American public is now starting to realize what